Hi, my name is Neil Olsgaard.
I'm Connor Mannion.
And I'm Chris Proctor. Together, we conducted our feasibility study on a golf course called the Reserve in White Marsh Island, a suburb of Savannah, Georgia.
We will explain the study through market analysis, project descriptions, key project assumptions, and economic and fiscal impacts.
We will then evaluate the balance sheet, income statement, and statement of cash flows to determine if building this course would be feasible. We will now give an overview of our feasibility project.
For our feasibility study, we are evaluating whether the construction of a new golf course around Savannah, Georgia area could be a successful business investment for our client. The golf course will be situated on White Marsh Island, located on the coastal waterway about 10 minutes from downtown Savannah. The reserve's close proximity to Interstate 95 and Interstate 16 will allow the golf course to be easily accessible to customers visiting from across the state and southeast. Charleston, South Carolina, and Jacksonville, Florida, both are major markets that are only 100 miles away, and Atlanta is only 3 hours away, which gives the reserve lots of potential customers. Having those two heavily trafficked interstates, Savannah is a good destination place for stopping spot. Being near the airport will also bring in customers that are traveling from a great distance away. The Reserve Golf Course will offer an array of services to its customers. It will offer a broad range of golf lessons, such as one-on-one lessons, group lessons, and putting lessons. We will offer to help the children's development of the golf with camps and lessons. Along with the lessons, we will provide club rentals, club fittings, and golf accessories. The various products and services will be tailored to appeal to our target market demographic, which is between the ages of 18 and 65. Our data shows that the people between the age groups have a greater chance of playing a round of golf. The Reserve is a semi-private 18-hole par 72 golf course located on White Marsh Island in Savannah, Georgia. The core market for this golf course would be in Chatham County, which includes the city of Savannah and the surrounding islands. This is a prime golfing location that will not only attract people from Chatham County, but also people from across the state of Georgia and the neighboring states of South Carolina and Florida. The course is also minutes from the city of Savannah and less than 30 minutes away from the Savannah Hilton Head International Airport. The convenient access is right off of I-95, a major north-south interstate, and I-16, which links directly to Atlanta. There is a potential to capitalize on the people traveling up or down the East Coast on I-95. Joining a golf club is a great way to share time with your family and friends in a beautiful natural setting. It provides a way to exercise your body and your mind. Whether you play golf on a daily basis or you can only indulge in it on a casual basis, having a golf retreat easily accessible can make the difference in your day. It is reasonable to assume that the young adults to older range of people having a stable home and some discretionary income will bring in the types of people who would utilize our golf course. The median household income for Savannah is only $36,000, and for White Marsh Island, that number is $58,000, both of which fall very short of the $95,000 income of the average golfer. Also, the demographics of Savannah do not match up favorably with the average golfer.
Various factors influence the feasibility of a golf club in White Marsh Island. The climate, weather, precipitation, demographics of the city, travel accommodations, and many more contingencies exist that must be considered in the decision to begin this project. While these are not the only factors in whether the club will be successful or not, they definitely have an impact on making the large investment in this club. It is no secret that golf is an expensive sport. From tee times to expensive equipment, golf requires a financial investment and is not a sport that is easy to pick up and play. This factors largely into the average golfers having an income of $95,000. The median household income in Savannah is only $37,000, which is much lower than that of the national average. But once again, White Marsh Island's average number is much higher. The suburb has a median household income of $58,796. This will be an obstacle, and it will be important to price this course realistically for the population and market to the wealthier areas of the city, the suburbs, and tourists. The climate in Savannah makes golf a possibility practically year-round. The city averages a mild 66.8 degrees with an average high of 77.4 and an average low of just 56.1. This presents weather conditions that are favorable to the course being playable nearly all year. Cold temperatures are a major deterrent to golfers, which is definitely a positive for the possibility of a club in Savannah, since the city averages only 22.3 days a year below 32 degrees. Savannah's hot summers may be an issue as the city averages 70 days out of the year above 90 degrees, with July and August combining for 40.7, which is more than two-thirds of the days in those months. Precipitation is an important factor in planning and managing the golf course. Too much precipitation restricts the amount of days that the course is playable. Too little can result in drought and increased costs on irrigation in the playing surface. Savannah averages 108.2 days with precipitation annually, with no month averaging more than 13.5 days with precipitation. This equates to an average of 48 inches of rainfall per year. These precipitation averages compare favorably with the rainfall at TPC San Antonio and TPC Sawgrass in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. These courses operate championship facilities with 32.91 inches of rain and 50.04 inches of rain, respectively. The median age in Savannah is 32.3 years old, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, which is slightly younger than the average golfer's age of 46. However, 14.7% of Savannah's population are between the ages of 25 and 34, 13.7% are between the ages of 35 and 44, and 11.6% are between the ages of 45 and 54. This compares favorably with the demographics of the average golfer, as 12% of golfers are between the ages of 30 and 39, 22% are between the ages of 40 and 49, and 24% are between the ages of 50 and 59. Also, according to the U.S. Census, 52.1% of Savannah's residents and 52% of White Marsh Island residents are female, which is not favorable to the 77.5% of golfers that are male compared to only 22.5% that are female. One positive aspect for Savannah for opening a golf club is the tourism the city brings in. Over 13 million people visited in Savannah in 2014, including 7.6 million overnight stays, which resulted in $2.5 billion in spending. Hotel stays and airport boardings were both up over the last year, and leisure and hospitality, which includes entertainment and recreation and therefore includes golf, has grown 5% annually since 2010 and employs 25,000 people. It is clear that tourism is a huge industry in Savannah, and that for this course to be sustainable, it is necessary to attract tourists to the course. White Marsh Island is only an 11-minute drive from downtown Savannah via U.S. Highway 80 East. This short drive may make the course attractive to those commuting from the city. In addition, the course would be a 35-minute drive from the Savannah Hilton Head International Airport via I-516 East to U.S. Highway 80 East. This is very important in attracting tourists visiting the city to play the course. While these commute times are favorable, a negative aspect may be that for the most part the only access to White Marsh Island is via US 80 East. If there was some congestion or other issues with 80 East, it would be nearly impossible to find other routes onto the island. There are currently 11 public and 10 private courses in the Savannah, Georgia area. With so many courses in one area, it presents the challenge of attracting players from those courses. However, the presence of so many courses leads one to believe that there is no dominant course in the area, and that if so many courses can sustain and remain in business, that there is room in the market for a top-of-the-line course.
For the revenue sources in the golf shop, we offer annual dues and membership fees. Our pro membership is $2,000. Our 3-month membership is $1,200, while a junior membership is $700. Other revenue sources include green fees, golf lessons, club rentals, range balls, and merchandise. 9 holes cost $50, while 18 holes cost $70. The pro shop included revenues from t-shirts, hats, clubs, balls, and golf tees, while golf lessons ran at $60 an hour. We also had food and beverage revenues from the bar and lounge. To begin our golf course, we took out a $6 million loan for 20 years at a 5% annual interest rate. Our growth rate is 5% a year based on the fact that the hospitality sector, which includes entertainment and recreation, has grown 5% annually since 2010. Our expenses included utilities, salaries, maintenance, accumulated depreciation, water and irrigation, supplies, licenses, insurance, and advertising. Our largest amount of expenses came from food and beverage salaries and the golf shop salaries. The food and beverage director made $28,759 a year, and the head golf professional made $60,456 a year. In all cases, our revenue from the golf shop and bar and lounge exceeded the expenses from the golf shop, bar, and lounge. Okay, the first thing you want to look at is your current assets. Our current assets are cash, inventory, and accounts receivable. Our long-term assets are land, equipment, and building, accumulated depreciation. Our current liabilities are our long-term debt and other current liabilities. Our total long-term liabilities is long-term debt. Then we have owner's equity, retained earnings, and then our total equity and liabilities together. If you look at the equity section, we didn't have any investors for the first 2 years because our company wasn't churning any profit. But starting at year 3, we seeked investors that would give us the money that would make our balance sheet balance at the end. If you go back to the top and look at the cash, we started out our first year with $2.19 million in total revenue, and each year it went up approximately $2 to $4 million through year 5, where we ended up at $15 million. Now, in order for this project to be feasible, we had to go and get investors in year 3, 4, and 5. If we want this project to even produce more revenue, we would have to get invested equity in years 1 and 2, which we did not seek.
Looking at the income statement on the revenue side, we have golf shop revenue, which comes from greens fees, membership fees, merchandise. We also have food and beverage revenue, which comes from our bar and lounge. Tournament revenue, which will come from a tournament to be held at the club each year. And then we have that minus cost of goods sold, which is the food and beverage served in the bar and lounge, and the merchandise sold in the golf shop. On the expense side, we have utilities, salaries, maintenance, depreciation, water, and irrigation. Below that, we have our interest expense on our loan, which comes down to our net income. You'll notice that everything is growing at a 5% rate, which was what we found the growth rate for golf in the Savannah area to be right now. Our net income is so high because we had to charge very high rates in order to make our company solvent and make it possible, which is one of the reasons that we found this club to be not feasible.
So now we are looking at the cash flow statement. First, you look at our operating activities and you see our net income. Our net income is coming from the income statement. And then we have to add back the depreciation that we had previously subtracted. And then we are minusing our inventory because it is our cost of goods. And then you will come down to the investing activities And this is where our loan was for, because you see that our land was worth $2 million and our equipments and buildings were worth $4 million. And now that we go down to the financing activities, you'll see our long-term debt and our payment of long-term debt. Our payment in the long-term debt is what we will pay every year for our debt with the interest. When you come to the bottom, you will see that our cash stays within the company. We do not spend it, we keep it in retained earnings. After completing our feasibility study, we have concluded that the Reserve Golf Club is not feasible. While our financial statements show an extremely profitable business, the steps that would have to be taken to start this company would be extremely unrealistic. One of the reasons this project is unrealistic is because of the overly high green fees that had to be raised to cover expenses, which are well out of our target's price range. Charging $50 for 9 holes of golf when the median household income is only between $36,000 and $58,000 will be pricing out the consumer and will not be able to gain or retain customers at that rate. It will be difficult to enter this market when there are already competitors providing a high quality public courses for cheaper than what we would be able to offer it, since our startup costs are so high. In addition, we moved to equity. Based on our location and startup costs, we would need investors. We conducted our feasibilities starting with no investments and grew over time. And we could still not get our price point to a realistic level. If we were able to secure a location that was more cost efficient, perhaps it would increase the probability that this project could be feasible. For this study, we had to forecast investors starting at year 3 to keep the project on track. Even with these investors, we were unable to bring our price down. All of these factors contribute to the Reserve Golf Club not being a feasible project. We recommend the client move on to a new project.
City averages a mild 66.8 degrees with an average high of 77.4 and an average low of just White Marsh Island is a coastal suburb of.
Do you feel the burn?
Do you feel the burn?
After 4 hours, I feel the
I
burn.
feel the burn.
We're feeling it.
Please, Dr. Regan.
Dr. Regan.
Please
Grades.
help our grades.
Help our grades.